Rashid, who's based in Bradford. He started as a volunteer. And then the next phase, you could say, was in 2005. So from 2000 to 2005, it was on a very volunteer basis. It wasn't registered or anything, because the amount that he was collecting, he didn't need to register at Charity Commission with certain laws.
Yeah.
In 2005, a group of us brothers, Mehmood Ahmed came again, a group of us brothers got together and we registered the charity with the Charity Commission in 2005. That same year, in October the 8th, there was an earthquake. I think that from Pakistan's side, how they suffered, etc. But we started fundraising officially and properly, bringing some form of structure, because in 2005 we opened our proper office in Birmingham, you could say, where it was a permanent fixture, building, an address, and that was where Reed Foundation started in Birmingham. That phase continued for another 6-7 years, where we had trustees. Sam joined, a few other brothers joined who saw the Reed of work in Pakistan. They came back here, they saw Reed at some exhibition, GPU here, there. They got involved, and we had our group of trustees, which were about 8-9 trustees. We had Inam, as you mentioned earlier. He came because he was from Pakistan. He had a level of experience, and the work progressed, but it wasn't at the level that we wanted. Now the third phase, which Reed Foundation is going through after having it structured, etc., is now that we are at a juncture in Reed Foundation's life where we feel that we have to take it to the next level now to make it a lot more professional. The difference between Reed Foundation and other charities, even Islamic Relief and Muslim Aid and the likes, is that if you look at all the other charities, initially their work started from here, not in the field. So they had an idea, they had a vision, they set up an office, they fundraised, and according to their funds, they implemented the projects in the field. Reed Foundation is somewhat different, where the work has started before, and we're going in reverse. So the work has been established in Pakistan, it's been implemented for 18 years, and now we're actually fundraising. Not the other way around, where we're fundraising and implementing. We've already implemented, now we're fundraising. So now here, I've obviously left Human Appeal International and I've joined Reed Foundation.
Why?
Yes.
Why is a big question?
Yeah, it's a very big question actually. The reason why personally I left, Mehmood Ahmed did approach me on several occasions to join before, but I was very committed to Human Appeal. In building Human Appeal, when I joined Human Appeal, it was raising about 200,000-300,000. There was only 2 members of staff. Now, alhamdulillah, Human Appeal is raising on annual about 5 million plus. It has 25 staff members. It's well known. It has fundraising offices in Dubai, Ajman, Sharjah, and the Emirates. It has a very large fundraising office in Australia, 3 offices in Sydney, Melbourne. It came to a point where Mehmood Ahmed shared his vision with me of what Reed Foundation wants to do. Because Reed Foundation has 2 functions. Number one, it is a charity on the face. It is a fundraising office, it's a charity. But the real click for me was that it's more than a charity, because of what it's doing. And I would say that Reed Foundation is not just a charity, it's a movement for social change and development. Okay, because what you're doing is you're trying to make a social impact on the ground and development in terms of developing the people. And I strongly believe on this vision, and that's why I left, because my position was Deputy CEO in Human Appeal. I started obviously at the bottom of the ladder, way up. So I had 25 people working there. I could have very easily stayed, and to be honest, if I'm very honest, I was comfortable there. But with Reed Foundation, joining them, the main motivation was number one, the vision, and number 2, the challenge that I need to add my whatever I can to this pot of change. So I want to be part and parcel of that process. So that was the motivation for me, with the bigger vision that we can make a huge impact on the ground and changing people's lives, changing society for the better. I have in Human Appeal fundraised for all over the world. I've travelled to Gaza, to Sudan, to China, to many parts of the world. And I fundraised a lot for different countries, but I also felt another affinity with Kashmir because I'm originally from there. I think from my experience now, it's high time that I gave back to my community there as well as here. Because the future for Reed Foundation is that now we're going to take it to a different level. So from my experience, we're really looking at our direct mail campaigns, our social media strategy, our fundraising, charity dinners, volunteer chapters. Alhamdulillah, we had a good relationship with Islam Channel. Last year we managed to, with that advice, help get into Islam Channel as one of the charity partners. So we have a huge platform to showcase our work. That's one aspect that we're doing, but the other aspect is that we can make a huge difference here. So one is working in Pakistan, but with our vision with Reed Foundation is to make it much more professional charity. But also is that I think because I've been sitting with Islamic Relief, Muslim Aid, Muslim Hands, initially we set up a document called Muslim Charities Forum, which was a document, an idea, and it's now in fruition. It's actually an organization, an umbrella organization called the Muslim Charities Forum. And there's 5 major charities in the UK leading that. And I was there from the beginning, and there is a culture now where a lot of the other charities are feeling the pressure that people are asking questions that we need to work here. But if I'm very honest, I think with Reed Foundation, we have a vision of working here not because people are asking, because we have our own vision. And this is a new arena as well, where in the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years, we are going to heavily focus on working here, amongst communities here, in the field of education. And finally, the uniqueness for me was that it's only when you begin to focus on something and you look at it from a niche point of view that you make a huge impact. And Reed Foundation is not a reactive charity. We're not sat there, because I've come from that culture, to be honest. I'm telling you things that behind what goes on is that we're not a charity waiting for a disaster to happen somewhere in the world. So we're waiting for a flood, or we're waiting for an earthquake, or we're waiting for a drought, and then we can raise our donations. We're not reactive. Reed Foundation is not a reactive charity. It is a proactive charity. And that's another thing that's really shifted my whole paradigm and shift to say that, this is what I need to do for the rest of my time that I can to add value to that. And we're proactive, we're focused, and it's something very close to my heart, because I strongly believe as well that if you want to change anything, education is the root to not just poverty, but to many other ills as well in society. So, so that's in a nutshell. I mean, there's a lot more.
Emergency.
Okay, if I